Hey, what's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to talk about if you are 50, is it too late if you haven't started saving for retirement? That's what I'm going to talk about today. So, hey guys, welcome. My name is Alex, and I help Gen Xers, people who are between the ages of 40 and 56, generate more income, build wealth so they can live the life they truly want and leave a legacy for their family. So, hey guys, I want to talk a little bit about if you are 50 years old, if it's too late for you, if it's too late for you. And so I know it's a feeling that a lot of people don't want to talk about or won't admit, but with the people that I coach, you often find there are fears, anxieties, and doubts that people have, especially when it comes to their future and when it comes to their money. And a lot of times people won't verbalize it, but there's a lot of fear, anxiety, and doubt associated with, am I going to be able to retire well? Am I going to be able to retire with dignity? Am I going to be able to cover what life throws at me as I continue to progress and age? And so I want to talk a little bit about that today, and I want to share a few things with you. And I have something special for you at the end, so you definitely want to pay attention and stay till the end. But I want to just let you know, first of all, very, very clearly, no, it is not too late. All right, it is not too late, and that is good news. I don't know if you've heard any good news as it relates to your finances lately, but let me tell you, it is good news. So let's just say, for instance, that you are 50, okay, and you haven't really started saving money just yet. So let me just share with you a few things that I would like for you to consider in order for you to be able to prepare yourself better for what's to come. First of all, I want you to understand a couple of things. Number one, life, if you are fortunate and blessed, there will come a day when you will no longer be working. There's absolutely, it's going to happen. Okay. So that's number one. And number two, I want you to start thinking that you want, when you stop working, you want it to be your choice. You don't want it to be something that's forced upon you. We know ageism does exist in the job market and in the real world. We know that it exists. Okay. And we also know that the body is a resilient, very resilient, remarkable thing, but it sometimes can fail us also. So so the body wears down over time, and then there also comes a time when you just decide, hey, you know what? I just don't want this. I want to get out the rat race. I want to start enjoying myself and enjoying my life and my family, or whatever it is that you would like to do. So the first thing that I want you to look at and realize is you first need to know what are your plans for the future. When do you actually expect, or when would you like to retire? Now, the early retirement age is 62. That's the age at which you are actually able to start withdrawing Social Security benefits. That's 62 is the earliest age. Okay. So a lot of times people are kind of waiting on that magic number. Some people decide to continue to work longer till 65. Some people even have decided to wait until full retirement, which is now 67, if I'm not mistaken. And probably by the time we get to that age, it's probably going to be 70 years old. Okay. And that's full, quote unquote, full retirement where you get full benefit. All right. So the first thing that you really want to understand is you really want to have a sense of what are you going to need in terms of retirement dollars. Okay. When are you going to retire? At what age? All right. So if we assume that it's 62 and you are 50 at this point, So we're talking about 12 years. Okay, that's 12-year difference. So the question becomes, over the next 12 years, what are you going to be doing to secure your financial future? Now, what I want you really also to recognize and to focus on, that your financial position, where you are financially, can dramatically change for the better in a very short period of time. A lot of times people think that it takes decades in order to get to a place of being able to build wealth. And I really want you to understand that when you have a good solid plan, and when you begin to really understand how to earn money more efficiently, when you begin to learn how to invest your savings, right? You really begin and you start looking for smart investments. Now you start to realize that, hey, I don't necessarily have to wait 20, 30, 40 years in order to build up a really big nest egg. You want to start working smarter and not harder. Okay. So if you have 12 years before you're actually able to retire early at age 62, so the question becomes, all right, how long do you think you will be living in retirement? If you retire at 62, the average age is around 80. Okay, the average person lives to be about 80. So we're talking roughly about 18 years. Okay, 18 years you would need to have money in order to cover your living expenses, your lifestyle, for 18 years. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea. So if you're 50 now, that means you have 12 years until you're 62. Okay, and then once you reach 62, you have to have enough money saved in order to live for roughly about 18 to 20 years. All right, so that's kind of the math that we're working with. All right, so the first thing you really need to look at is, okay, what is my current lifestyle? What does it currently look like? And Lord willing, how much do I think I will need to live in retirement on an annual basis? So let's say, for instance, now roughly it takes about $50,000 to fund your lifestyle. Now, if it takes about $50,000 now, we're going to say, you're not going to have as many expenses once you get a little bit older. You're not going to be doing some of the same things. You won't be working anymore. So obviously some of the expenses associated with maintaining your job, you won't have those anymore. Hopefully, other expenses won't go crazy. You won't need medical expenses. You won't have healthcare expenses that start to really increase and jack up. So we're just gonna say, if you have 50, if you're able to live on 50,000 now, that you're able to, for easy math, we're gonna say that you're able to live on 40,000 a year in retirement. So if you have 18 years, okay, and you have 18 years that you're gonna live in retirement, and you're going to need $40,000 a year. So roughly you're talking about $720,000 is what you're going to need. Now, that is good news. I want you guys to know, because I want you to realize most people think they need to be a millionaire in order to live and retire well. And so this actually shows you don't have to be a millionaire in order for you to be able to live well in retirement. So that is good news. Now, if you haven't saved anything as of anything significant right now, just know most of America has not saved well for retirement. Okay, it's just a fact. When you look at the statistics, 66% of people don't have $1,000 saved in their emergency fund. let alone anything else for retirement. So if you know your magic number is roughly about 720,000 or so, good news, it's not a million, so you don't need to be a millionaire. But now we start having a number that we can start working towards, right? All right. So the next thing that you really want to do is you want to say, all right, since I know in retirement I can start retiring at 62, you want to know exactly how much you will have coming in from your Social Security benefits, if it's still around. Lord willing, if it's still around, how much will you receive per year uh, for your Social Security benefits? So if it takes $40,000 a year for you, roughly, the average Social Security benefit right now is roughly about $1,500. Okay, $1,500. All right. So that means that you have $18,000 a year coming in from Social Security. So the question then becomes, do you have any other 401ks? Do you have any other pensions? Do you have any other retirement income? Do you have any type of life insurance policies with cash value associated with it? Do you have any IRAs? Any of those things that can help defray some of the expenses. So if you know you're roughly about 40,000 a year, and you have 18,000 coming from Social Security, so that means you have another $22,000 a year that you have to make up the difference. All right. So now that's assuming that you don't have anything saved, and that's assuming that you now have to make up $22,000. Okay, you gotta come up with $22,000 a year, which is the difference between how much it takes you to live and how much you actually have coming in from Social Security. All right. So now the question is, we now have to devise a plan. We have to devise a plan. All right. So if you know you're going to need, let's see, 22,000 times 18. So we're saying, hey, we need about $396,000 or maybe $400,000, right? We need to have either that much sitting in an account, all right, or we need to have that much coming in from assets. And this is what I want people to really focus on and really understand, that you don't necessarily have to have all of the money sitting in an account for you to retire and for you to withdraw from. You don't necessarily have to have all of the money. I want you to start thinking, realizing, understanding that if you have assets that are working for you, then those assets now become a part of your income, right? It becomes a part of your income. So let's look at it very, very clearly, just to kind of give you an idea. If you happen to have real estate, right? One piece of real estate, and that one piece of real estate, you're able to generate, we'll say you're able to clear $500 a month, okay, from just one piece of real estate. Now that means you have $6,000 of income that is coming in. All right. So if you buy 4 pieces of asset, 4 single family homes, or if you happen to buy, a quadruplex, right? And they're able to, and each door is generating $6,000 for you for a year. That means if you have 4 units, Now you're at $24,000 of real estate that's cash flowing for you, that you're actually able to use that money as income. See, I want you to begin to understand that you need to start now building assets that can actually pay you in retirement. Now, you might decide, you know what? I don't in retirement, I don't necessarily want to be managing any properties. So I would say, guess what? Start now. Start buying homes, start getting real estate, start investing now, so you're able to invest in that real estate over the next 12 years, right? Where you're able to generate the cash flow that comes from the property, the rental income, and you're also able to get the appreciation in property value, right? And of course, your tenants are paying down your mortgage, which is creating equity for you. Now you're at a place now where you're able to take the cash flow that you have been generating over the next 12 years, okay, from age 50 to 62. You're able to take that cash flow and what? Invest it. And once you get to age 62, you might decide, hey, I want to cash out. I want to go ahead and sell my properties. And so if you have if you have bought those four properties, like I said, and those four properties have appreciated, or you have built up $100,000 of equity in each one. Now that means when you sell them, you now have $400,000 cash, right? That now you're able to live off of, okay, in retirement. And so I just broke that down and made it very simple for you, so you can see and you can understand that, guess what? Just because you haven't started saving just yet and you haven't started investing just yet, it doesn't mean that you won't be able to get to your magic number and be able to retire well and live well. It simply means that you now have to start thinking about your strategies, and you have to start thinking about which investment vehicle is going to give you the best return, and which one is going to be best for you to meet your retirement goals. And that's the difference, okay? Once you start asking yourself, where am I? What are my needs? Okay? And then how over the next, however, whatever period of time I work, whatever working years I have left, what can I be doing during those working years to set myself up for success, for retirement at the date that I want? And I just gave you just one example, for instance. So as you can tell right now in this crazy housing market, if you happen, your primary residence, might have, it might have the value of home might have doubled over the last few years, right? It's easy for to have $100, $200, $300, $400,000, depending on where you live, of equity sitting in your home, right? So your home or real estate becomes one asset, okay? Another way that you can potentially do this is you can start setting up passive income opportunities, passive income businesses. And so the idea behind this is you want to be able to start generating some additional income, right? Aside from the job that you currently have, if you are currently working. You have to create some additional income, guys. And because that is the only way that you're going to have monies that you're able to invest, right, in a way that can grow for you over the next the next 12 years and the next 15 years whenever you decide to retire. One thing to consider if you happen to say, hey, Alex, I'm not really good at investing. I don't know about all that stuff and how all that works. I'm going to say, no problem. No worries. I have a couple of recommendations for you. Okay. One of the things that you can actually look at is there's a little thing called an ETF. And ETFs are really electronically traded funds. Okay. So if you've ever heard of a mutual fund is actually a fund that where a pool of money has been collected, and it is invested in such a way to hopefully generate a certain kind of return. And there are all types of mutual funds for all types of different types of investments. You can have a mutual fund that invests in major corporations, companies that are tech companies, energy companies. You might have something that is oil, natural gas. It could be any number of things, real estate, precious metals, gold, silver. There are all types of mutual funds. Okay. Now, the issue with mutual funds is mutual funds tend to have higher expenses associated with their management. Okay, because they're managed by professional stock pickers and brokers and analysts. There are higher fees associated with it. Now, that's where the ETF is a little bit different. The ETF is a little bit different is because it essentially does kind of sort of the same thing, except what an ETF does, it'll buy a certain collection of funds, right? And the whole idea is they want to buy in such a way that they're able to, an index fund, ETF, they're able to get you a certain return, all right? But they want to do it in a way that becomes very passively, where they're not actively trading stocks in and out, and they're not trying to necessarily beat the market, okay? And so it's very passive. And because it's passive, meaning they're not actively spending a lot of time trying to trade stocks in and out, the expenses are cheaper associated with an exchange traded fund. And for that reason, you have lower fees. And so that's what I'm going to recommend, is that you look at investing in an ETF, and one that Fidelity has some really good ones that you should look at. Even better, I would probably say Vanguard. So do a little bit of research and look into Vanguard ETF funds, and start investing money on a monthly basis with them once you have made your selection. And let that money grow over time. Let that money grow over the next 10, 12, 15 years. Okay? Now, so that's one way to do it. Or you can select what's called a target date fund. And the idea behind a target date fund is it knows you once you know, hey, I want to retire in the next 15 years. That becomes your date. Okay? 15 years. So now that target date fund knows that they have 15 years in order to help you meet your financial goal. So that fund is going to invest money in such a way to help you reach your goal, your retirement goal or your investment goal over the next 15 years. So it's gonna make stock selections, stock picks. It's gonna make bond selections, bond picks, all kinds of picks and changes, right, throughout the years to help you get as much as you possibly can in investment. And then as the years go by, your dates gets closer and closer. It's gonna start making safer and safer bets, so you won't lose the gains that you have. So a target date fund is another selection if you want to go the investment route, the capital investment, the money investment route. If you wanted to just say, hey, I just want to carve out a certain amount of money each month and I just want to put it in something and just have it work for me, then I'm going to, again, look at Vanguard ETFs and look at date traded funds as two ways to help you do that. Now, I said earlier I have something special for you. If this is kind of stuff that's all over your head and you're not sure exactly how to move forward, the first thing I'm going to recommend that you do is I actually have an assessment that'll help you understand where you are in your finances right now and what areas you need to strengthen and get better in. Okay. And you can go to alexbjones.com/fitness, FITNESS, alexbjones.com/fitness. If you go there, I actually have a self-assessment that you can do. It's absolutely free. It'll take you anywhere 3 to 5 minutes. It's really easy. It's really simple. Yes, no questions. That'll start you. That'll actually be a great first step to helping you on your financial journey. So if you're 50 right now and you haven't started retiring your retirement savings just yet, or you feel like you're way behind, go ahead, alexbjones.com/fitness. Start there, and it'll walk you through this process, and you will actually begin to have an opportunity to learn more about how you can get from where you are to where you truly want to be in life. All right. So, hey, as always, I love to hear your questions, your comments. Please put them in the section below. I love to hear from you, and please feel free to inbox me if you have any questions that I can help you with as well. All right. Take care. God bless. See you next time.